Welcome, Dr. Farooq Wasil, to this program. Our first question to you is, you've been a strong advocate of education reform. How do you see NEP 2020 influencing early childhood education in India?
Thank you, Sukana. NEP is a very progressive educational framework, and it's very transformative force. If implemented letter in spirit, I'm sure we will be in the League of Nations, where we still believe that they have quality education and quality schools. Obviously, it's all about first understanding the framework and then intent and the will to implement and execute. But obviously, the execution is also the function of people with capacities to run through this transformative framework, because it's a major shift that's happening. Now, our schools did not recognize earlier on the provisions for nursery, kindergarten, and stages, because we were directly schools were starting from grade 1. So this is a more specialized area. Our understanding of learner and pedagogy has changed over a period of time. Now we have complete evidence that the first 5 years are the most precious years of human life, where the 90% of the human brain development takes place. Someone said that, give me the first 5 years of childhood, I don't care who takes the rest. So these are these important 5 years when the foundations are laid. Actually, the shell and core, the base you develop is during these 5 years. And unfortunately, these are the years which had the most neglect in our scheme of work, both with parents and the educational system. There wasn't much emphasis on it. We were believing that children can also start late. This is not important. But it's not about teaching them alphabets and rudimentary. It's about developing them as group individuals with better physical health, emotional health, social health. And that has not been also the part of curriculum. The curriculum primarily is looking similarly for rote learning, writing number of pages. That's how mostly it is done now. This transformative framework calls for, one, that we need to really prepare a large pool of teachers with these new pedagogies. We need to really equip them so that they can then implement NEP the way it has been envisaged, visioned by the policymakers. It also calls for resources. Nothing can be achieved barehanded. Schools need to have learning resources. Problem is that over a period of time, given that we were going through a phase of improvement and development, it's evolutionary, education is evolutionary. We have come a long way, but the gap is so big. How do you bridge that gap? It's not easy. We have school infrastructure issues. We have schools location issues. We have schools access issues. We have teacher quality and capacity issues. We have the issue of know-how of this particular area of education. Early years need some specialized understanding and training. They need to use special TLMs, to create a classroom and learning experiences for the children. So NEP as a document, as a framework is beautiful. It has the potential of transforming our educational landscape and making it one of the most sought after educational landscape. But only the catch is that right intent, purpose, resources, and the people who has been given the responsibility of implementing NEP, their personal skill sets, personal understanding of translating it into actionables.
Okay, sir. How aligned is our Preschool Olympiad model, which global best practices you've seen in early years of education? The fact that we are making it very easy for the school level and as per whatever is being taught in the school, and it is not like other big children's Olympiad where it is very tough and competitive. Okay.
You see, one of the greatest area where we need a lot of work to be done and where we need to really bring a 360-degree transformation is assessment. Our assessments inside the schools are not very credible in some ways. because there's so much of emphasis on pen and paper. There's so much of emphasis on summative assessment. And teachers also, unfortunately, they don't know how to design assessment. See, formative assessment is nothing but developing internal kind of a check and balances whether learning is happening or not. It's meta, learning or metacognition. The teacher must reflect. Then, when children are not learning, that means my design was not perfect or I did not do very well. So, Olympiads is in a way helping teachers to design a comprehensive assessment. What is the assessment? Assessment is not marks. It's not a checklist. It's not ticks. It's not wrongs. It's observation.
Correct, sir.
What do you do in the early years? It's all about observations. And have our teachers been trained to, have authentic observation? When you talk about, say, I am assessing the emotional well-being of the child, how is a 90% marks again in the report card showing that his emotional health is fine? There must be some set of behaviors which were observed. So Olympiads, through its scheme of assessment, which is primarily formative, can help teachers, one, to understand that how we can design formative assessment and how we can teach those competencies, how we can measure those major competencies like creativity, like collaboration. You have PISA, it's a creative thinking framework. So on the similar lines, TIMS, PISA, if we can design these Olympiads, it's an early intervention in the life of children to understand assessment and what a good assessment looks like. It has to be skill-based assessment. They must avoid pressure testing and, instead celebrate curiosity, like Finland's playful assessment or UK's early years, framework. So there are many good frameworks in the world which we can draw from. A teacher during the, say, 12 years of schooling of the child roughly asks 70,000 questions. And the research tells us most of these questions are in the understanding information and application domain. They haven't moved up. So when you will design the questions of inference, analysis, and those are linked with higher order thinking skills, those are linked with the competency. Critical thinking is not something you can teach independently. It has to be embedded in your classroom teaching and learning. It has to be embedded in your daily life inside the school. So I think you will be doing a great job if your Olympiads get designed that way. And there's a niche need for independent assessment of schools and school children and their learning outcomes. Because schools somehow, their assessment is not very credible. I always say the 5 principles of good assessment are, it has to be continuous. And that's what we call formative assessment. Assessment for learning, of learning, as learning, is learning. It has to be play-based. And it has to be play-based. It has to be child-centered. It must revolve around child. And assessment has to be non-threatening. It has to be developmental in approach. What is the purpose of assessment? Helping you to move from one end to other end. It's attainment and progress. Assessment is not punitive. And I think Olympiads are a good way, but we need to really look at the way we organize, develop and conduct it.
Yes, sir. Sir, the next one is, how do you think schools can better communicate the purpose and value of such assessments to parents?
Assessment is that if children have not done very well, I need to go back to the drawing board, lay the canvas and question my own teaching style.
Right. So future of foundational learning is our new next thing that we want to ask you. Where do you see foundational learning heading in the next 5 years?
Now with the government provisioning for early years, we have curriculum board, NCF has given very defined board. We must measure schools again in this curriculum, not with the syllabus and rudimentary teaching to the target, learning a lesson, doing this. No, we need to move. And it's going to happen because there will be ultimately when this scheme gets implemented, in its letter and spirit, you will have the external agencies testing. There can be national testing around agencies transition stages, so that we know that how our children are performing across the country. It's not about one child. Every child matters. There has to be equity. The future will demand this, because remember, future is no more the function of past. You're not preparing them. The tragedy today is that future is unpredictable. Even all our collective knowledge, you, me, and the entire world, is not, sufficient enough to predict. Somebody has to take the ownership, and it's nation. You say it's in the classroom that the future of any country is being shaped. Classroom is a larger reflection of who we are as a country and a society. And it's also true that it's in the classroom that the creativity of the child is stifled. To make children curious, to develop those 21st century competencies we are talking around every day in and day out, it needs enabling environment. It needs people of substance, people of skill, people of understanding. So I think it is wherever the experience is, with, say, you, with someone else, or wherever they are, we need to collaborate. And I keep saying it, that human society thrives on collaboration. It's inherently, in our character and DNA that we must become collaborative, because we cannot learn minus collaboration. It's the animals who believe in competition. Humans don't compete. How it helps when children compete with each other? Children must grow at their own pace. What is foundational stage is that every child we find genius in every child. We need, the only thing is unleash that potential. Create an enabling environment. Provide those learning opportunities. You create experience.
So now I will ask you 3 more questions, and those are rapid fires. You just have to give quick answers. Okay, sir?
Okay, that's a rapid fire?
It's a rapid fire, but only 3 questions of rapid fire. Okay, the first question.
Okay, no.
Sir, ready, sir?
Okay.
Rapid
Ready?
fire, first question. A book every preschool teacher should read.
The Whole Brain Child by Dr. Dan.
Thank you, sir.
And I would say another book, in fact, Teaching as Subversive Activity. It's a very beautiful book.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you for both the references. The next one, sir. One thing Indian schools should unlearn.
Sometimes I want to say earlier is not better. We take Finland, there's late schooling. So children are progressing. So this notion of that, load them with things, I think they need to really recognize this.
Okay. So third and the last one. Play or assessment? If you had to pick just one word to define early years.
I say discovery. Assessment should be invisible, woven into play. Play is central.